Dong Ju hurriedly went down the stairs and checked on Ildo. Yongchan was stabbed and died, while Ildo was still alive. When Dong Ju wanted to call the emergency services, Ildo held his hand. He said, "From now on, Ildo will believe in the afterlife. In his afterlife, Ildo will beg forgiveness from San Ho, Jaeong-won and his son, Dong Ju, every day." Dong Ju doesn't want that. He wants his father to beg forgiveness while he is alive and still breathing. Dong Ju's business with Ildo is not finished yet, so if he dies like this, Dong Ju will not forgive him. Dong Ju then tells Ildo to wait and he will call the emergency services, but when he wants to call, he sees his father is dead. Dong Ju is very regretful and blames himself. He can only cry over lost his father. The incident was reported on TV, that director Seo Dong Ju of Daesan Group and Ildo, president of Daesan Energy, were attacked by an unknown man at director Seo Dong Ju's house. According to the police, the victims were not related to the attackers. After fighting with President Ha, the attacker was reported dead at the scene. Dong Ju told Guho to turn around the car that Mr. Yeom was in that car. His condolences were not accepted, because he was the one who sent people to kill his father. Mr. Yeom was very upset to see Dong Ju still alive and it was very annoying. Dong Ju feels that his business is still unfinished, and the heavens give him a chance to live, so that Dong Ju can sort it out. Mr. Yeom still insists on attending Ildo's funeral, but there are people who block him, so Dong Ju tells them to leave before being kicked out. Kukui is shocked and can't believe it when she finds out that Dong Ju is Ildo's son, and Dukui says that she saw the results of his DNA test with her own eyes. Dong Ju will take the inheritance from Kukui's brother-in-law. Ildo also has quite a lot of Daesan Energy shares. Every time Daesan Energy grows, their father tells him to increase the number of shares, because he supports Ildo so much. And Dukui also supports it, because later it will be for Taeyeon, but now there is Dong Ju, so she is confused. Kukui realizes that if that means Taeyeon and Dong Ju are siblings, even though Dong Ju always bothers her and now he is a big obstacle for Kukui. Dong Ju enters Chairman Cho's room and says that he is back alive. Then Yeosu tells him to sit down. She just found out that Ildo is his biological father. It's a shame that Dong Ju had to separate not long after finding out. Dong Ju told Yeosu to go out for a while because he wanted to talk to Chairman Cho. Besides, Yeosu could become the mistress of the Daesan family thanks to Dong Ju, so it would be a shame if Yeosu forgot about him and kept looking for trouble. Chairman Cho and Mr. Yeom planned to kill Dong Ju and Ildo, but only half succeeded, because only Ildo died. Dong Ju chased Mr. Yeom away when he came to pay his respects, so he hoped that Chairman Cho wouldn't come to the funeral either. He would cover up Chairman Cho's big mistake this time, so Chairman Cho should also stop attacking him. Because if Chairman Cho endangered him, then Seonu might not get a place in Daesan. Hearing that, Chairman Cho was very angry and called Dong Ju a jerk, because Dong Ju dared to threaten him. Seonu entered Chairman Cho's room because he had something to say, but he wasn't confident enough so he asked Dong Ju to accompany him. It turned out that he wanted to tell his father about his future plans. First of all, Seonu was going to take the college entrance exam, and he only will ride a motorbike while with Dong Ju. Then he also plans to study business, even though he previously didn't want to go to college, but because Dong Ju persuaded him, Seonu also wants to go to college. Dong Ju thinks Seonu must need time to adapt to the new environment, so he should start calling him dad instead of grandpa. Even though it's awkward and not easy, but Seonu has to start trying, then Seonu calls him dad, and from now on he will call him that. Chairman Cho looks at Dong Ju proudly, because his son wants to change and call him dad. It's all thanks to Dong Ju. Unam waits for Dong Ju to talk to him. Dong Ju tells Unam about his relationship with Ildo and Unam doesn't believe it. Dong Ju only knew about Ildo's father for 2 weeks. Unam feels sad because she divorced because she wanted to be with Dong Ju. For her, Dong Ju was always more important than anyone else. Ildo messed up her childhood and left a lifelong trauma. Then Dong Ju hated Ildo with her, but it turned out that Dong Ju was his son. Dong Ju is the one who understands the most how much Unam suffers from her father's strange death. However, Dong Ju is worried that Unam will leave him, once she finds out that Dong Ju is his son. So, Dong Ju thinks, should he replace Ildo to beg Unam for forgiveness every day? They are both trapped in a net made by their parents A and all the adults. Dong Ju came to Ildo's funeral. He remembered their previous conversation. At that time Ildo said if he died of old age one day, he wanted his ashes to be scattered in the sea where Dong Ju saved him. He wanted to repent there. But Dong Ju felt that he still wouldn't die, and Ildo thought of course he had to live long, if he wanted to wait for the day when Dong Ju called him dad. But Ildo had left Dong Ju before hearing Dong Ju call him dad. Then, Dong Ju brought his father's ashes to his house and put them in front of his desk. It was just a temporary place. Chairman Cha entered the safe password but it always failed. Suddenly Dong Ju pressed the password and the safe opened successfully. Chairman Cha was very annoyed because the password code that Dong Ju gave was different from the real password. He asked Dong Ju to give him the password but Dong Ju didn't want to give it. He instead asked how much money and gold Chairman Cha needed. At that time, Mr. Yeom came and he was confused to see Chairman Cha angrily telling Dong Ju to get out. Then Dong Ju closed the safe door and Dong Ju took the money and gold to give to Mr. Yeom. Then Mr. Yeom mentioned Dong Ju's life with 2 trillion won and slush funds in the Daesan safe. As if he wanted to show Chairman Cha how cunning Dong Ju was, because he kept the funds for himself. But Dong Ju instead told Chairman Cha to be careful, because Mr. Yeom was very dangerous by making Chairman Cha a conspirator in the murder of Ildo overnight. Hearing that, Mr. Yeom was very angry and told Dong Ju to just kill him. But Dong Ju thought that Mr. Yeom's life was not that important. He just wanted Mr. Yeom to crawl under his feet while begging to be let alive. Dong Ju met with journalist Mo Jae-oh to do an interview. Previously, Dong Ju refused all other interviews and only agreed to talk to journalist Mo Jae-oh. Dong Ju wanted to do it because he had asked Dong Ju about the Dandelion file. And at that time Guho saw journalist Mo Jae-oh. He remembered that the reporter had come to Mr. Yeom's house to ask about the Dandelion. Mo Jae-oh was at Dong Ju's headquarters to see the Dandelion file. Dong Ju was very strict about security, so Mo Jae-oh could only read the file there. There were no copies, printouts, and they had to clean it up once Mo Jae-oh left. Mo Jae-oh didn't mind about it, because he wanted to make an exclusive story about Yeom Jang Seon. Guho asked Mo Jae-oh to meet, and at that time Guho's men took the card on the dashcam and replaced it with a new one. Guho asked to meet, because he thought Mo Jae-oh had the Dandelion file. But Mo Jae-oh explained that he didn't keep Dandelion, because if he did, he would have published it. Then Mo Jae-oh called Dong Ju and told him that Guho had just met him to ask for the Dandelion file. Dong Ju could guess the reason Guho suddenly moved. It was because he had found what was hidden. Guho told Mr. Yeom about the dashcam footage in Mo Jae-oh's car. Looking at the dashcam, it was a place he had never been to before, but now he goes there every day. Mr. Yeom tells Guho to check the place and Guho plans to search the whole place. They come to the headquarters and Won-bae can't move when they search the computer and files stored there. Guho explains to Mr. Yeom that the man they caught is the man who ran away with Dong Ju at sea. His real name is Bae Won-bae. He did something illegal as a nurse and is now a fugitive. But they didn't find a real Dandelion file, but they still checked the computer that was brought. Myung Taegam was shocked when he saw the messy headquarters and she couldn't find Won-bae. Then she sent the CCTV footage before the headquarters was searched and Dong Ju was shocked to see that. Dong Ju called her and asked about her condition. Taegam is okay, but Guho kidnapped Wanbei because his cell phone fell there. Tomorrow morning they will find out that there is nothing on the computer, then they will pressure Wanbei to hand it over. The elder tells Dong Ju to memorize the names on the list, and when he had memorized it, the elder tore the paper. The elder told Dong Ju to find a way to convey it without attracting attention. Dong Ju did so, then he asked the elder for help. Then the elder called Mr. Yeom and he told Mr. Yeom to release Dong Ju's friend whom Mr. Yeom had taken and beaten. This was the first time Dong Ju had asked for his help, so the elder had to maintain his dignity, and Mr. Yeom would take good care of Dong Ju's friend. Mr. Yeom sent a photo of Wanbei covered in wounds, seeing that Dong Ju was very angry. Taegam thought they would kill him if Dong Ju didn't hand over Dandelion. Then Dong Ju called Guho. Dong Ju came to somewhere with Dandelion files and Mr. Yeom's men gave it to his boss. Without further ado, Mr. Yeom immediately burned the files and Dong Ju said that he no longer had a copy. Then Guho called and his men released Wanbei somewhere. Mr. Yeom asked why Dong Ju had to involve his friend to reveal Dandelion and embarrass him. Dong Ju thought, since it had been burned, now Mr. Yeom could be calm and ashamed secretly, because no one would know. Dong Ju almost died repeatedly because of Mr. Yeom, and he said it was because Dong Ju refused to support his struggle. Dong Ju was the one who escaped from the suicide squad and he should have died with Manager Yu. That way, the pyramid of the National Patriotism Fund would be perfect. And Dong Ju had swallowed 2 trillion won from the National Patriotism Fund and sacrificed his sister to save it. Dong Ju was angry because he did not sacrifice his sister for money, but Mr. Yeom was the one who killed his sister. Then Mr. Yeom told Guho to throw Dong Ju from the roof. When he was about to be dropped from the roof, suddenly there is a drone flown by Taegam and she broadcasts live streaming using MAJO TV. It turns out that the watch that Dong Ju is wearing has a hidden camera and it records all of Mr. Yeom's words and that corners Mr. Yeom himself. Dong Ju says that the Dandelion file that Mr. Yeom burned was Plan A, while MAJO TV was Plan B.